Welcome to Beyond Crafterdome, where today we will watch a death race for some of the last crafting supplies left in the wasteland. First one to the dollar store wins. Let's meet our sacrifices. First up is Thor Breaks in his monster truck Big Crunch. What, did he name that thing after a breakfast cereal? Next up is Nick of CC Minis, who's looking hot, and I mean that in a purely platonic way, in his hot ride called Fire Truck. And the Belgian Banshee is back. It's Gerd of Dark Matter Workshop. Gerd has a whole swarm of cars coming for you. Tinu of Craftastrophe is piloting the War Rage Shite Rider. All of his weapon systems are controlled by Windows Vista. Bill Making Stuff is apparently giving bus tours of the wasteland now in his double-decker death machine, Red Rooter. I don't even know what to say about this guy. Does he even know this is a race? This is Buzzsaw Boylai and his vehicle Street Reaper. Good luck, fish, you're gonna need it. Uh-oh, here comes the boss, the ultimate craft warrior, the Ayatollah of Crapola, the man with the best crafting tips in the apocalypse, Craftsman.
Contender, welcome to Beyond Crafterdome. This is a race to the finish. Alright. The victorious one will receive a coupon to the dollar store and also some Mod Pie. Alright.
So yeah, how did I end up here?
A few weeks ago, I received a letter detailing an offer I couldn't refuse. Return to the Crafterdome and participate in a winner-takes-all collab.
A race to the death. A death race.
In the letter, there was also an absurd amount of sand, and this sweet matchbook-sized fire truck. And I'm going to convert it into a fire truck. But, you know, like the kind you'd see in Mad Max.
And then I'm going to take that fire truck and win that death race.
If you've never converted a Hot Wheels or Matchbox car before, it's actually pretty easy. First thing you're going to do is flip that car over, and then you see these little pins or rivets right here. You got to drill those out, and then the whole thing will kind of fall apart. Here, I'll show you. The plastic ones are easy and they go pretty quick. The metal ones take a little bit more convincing. Let's take this puppy apart. This little clear plastic piece is the window shield. We're going to put that away for later, but the rest of the stuff we can start to play with. Right now this fire truck is set up for putting out fires, but that's not what we want. So I'm going to change out the bit on this rotary tool real quick, and we can start making some adjustments. Be sure to wear your safety glasses when you're doing stuff like this, or you might end up like this guy. The paint on the metal parts of the diecast car is a bit too shiny, so I'm going to take this spinny wire brushy thing and get rid of the shine. This will gnarl up the surface and give us some nice tooth to apply paint to later. Definitely wear a dust mask, by the way. You do not want to be inhaling this stuff. This fire truck is not at all fuel efficient, so I'm going to give it a big old gas tank, and I got just the thing. These wires from some unknown piece of electronics that I haven't used in years. They got this cool cylindrical shroud thingy, so I'm going to use that. I got two sizes here, one big and one small. Alright, yeah, that one's a little bit way too big, and the small one's a little too big too. So let's keep chopping the back of this truck to make room for it. Besides the death race, I'm building this for the post-apocalyptic vehicular mayhem game Gaslands by Mike Hutchinson, and I'm really excited to give that a try. The concept is super cool. You basically just make a little fleet of Hot Wheels cars and battle on a tabletop. It should be really fun. I'll be doing some terrain projects for it later, and of course, some more cars. To attach the tank to the truck, I'm using copious amounts of super glue and pixie dust. By pixie dust, I mean baking soda. It helps the super glue dry quicker and with more adhesion. But it doesn't help the glue from getting literally everywhere. Alright, I'm liking this so far, but everything's looking a bit too clean. So I used the sharp point of my clippers to gouge out some little scratches and dings along the truck. Then I pulled out some mesh that was part of a little office organizer thing and used that to make some bars for the windows. But when I tried to put the cap back on, it didn't really fit. So I think I gotta rip off these bars and try something else. Nope, still not working. I think I gotta sand the chassis down a little bit too. Ah, there we go. Alright, let's try this again, but maybe with a bit more finesse. I cut the grating down to just like a little square and then dip the edges in super glue. And carefully, gently placed it into the window. And then just a smidge of magical white dust fixed it into place. I like this little piece from an old soul grinder kit as a greebly to cover up the side. So I'm gonna pop off this little ball socket and glue it into place. For this side, I'm going to use this covering for, I think, a RAM card? I don't really remember where this is from, but I really like those little stripes. Yeah, I really need to work on my glue control. Alright, let's go check in with the other collaborators and see how their builds are going. It looks like Narb made a really cool rocket-powered monster truck. Bill's is looking sweet. Better stay away from those broadsides though. Boylai's looks dope, but doesn't really look the fastest. I wonder what his plan is there. Gert with Dark Matter Workshop sent me this. You know, bringing more than one car is kind of cheating, but I mean, I don't make the rules. When I tried to give Tinu a call, his dad picked up and tried to explain to me how he was the best at Space Invaders. I don't really know how that was relevant, but afterwards Tinu sent me this. And that looks like a crazy big war rig. Alright, there's some crazy fierce competition going on in this collab to the death. I better start building some weaponry. It's time to build a flamethrower. To do so, I used some styrene rods. I drilled out a cozy little hole for the rod to nestle into. Then, just using my fingers, I bent it into shape. To cut styrene cleanly, apply a little bit of pressure and kind of twist it around. Just like this. I used a slightly thicker diameter styrene rod for the heat vent, and then used a hand drill to cut in the holes that you usually see on flamethrowers. Now don't be a noob, every flamethrower needs an ignition tube. To make one, I'm also going to use styrene rods. I cut and then bent a thicker one first, and then used a nice small dainty one for the actual igniter part. Ignition part? Igniter part. Something like that. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, you can see it. It's right there. Gaslands is obviously pretty inspired by Mad Max, so I used some chains to greebly this truck up in a Mad Max style. I really doubt road maintenance is going to be a huge priority during the apocalypse, so I feel like the extra reinforcement will do us some good. And then added in that ball joint from the defiler kit we cut up earlier. Alright, I'm happy with the car now. It's time to prime it all up. I'm going to be doing a bunch of metallics on the truck, so I chose to use a simple black primer. We definitely don't need none of those fancy zenithal primes here. I'm starting with the absolute most important part of the truck, the interior. Keeping the hot desert heat in mind, I went with a nice beige interior, painting the whole thing with a soft off-white, and then hitting it with some Army Painter soft tone. Then I hit some of the other interior details with the gray. Now this is probably way too much work to be putting into something that nobody will ever see but me, but you know what? It makes me happy. I decided to mask off the front section. I want to keep that interior nice and fresh while I paint the rest of the truck. I hit the truck's voluptuous backside with a simple metallic recipe. A dark metal everywhere, a bright metal from above, and a sloppy coating of Nuln Oil to get in the cracks and crevices. Then it was time to hit the caboose with a quick spray of my hot hair juice. Hair juice isn't actually juice, by the way. You don't like juice anything for it. You kind of just spray hairspray into a bottle until it's just the liquid, and then you can spray that liquid through an airbrush as like a chipping medium. I'll show you how it works. After the hair juice sprays, you can paint back over it. Usually I use an airbrush, but this time I'm going to try brushing it on and see what happens. I made sure to paint the gas tank red just so that everyone knows it's filled with fuel and so no one will shoot at it. It's kind of like a warning. You know, you don't shoot red barrels, they'd explode. Everyone knows this, right? Once that top layer is dried, we can start to re-wet the paint and reactivate the hair juice we laid down earlier. Using just a little bit of pressure with a Q-tip, I'm able to start pulling some flakes and chunks of paint off. But the metallic undercoat stays. This is the power of hair juice. Always put it on your caboose. Or don't, I mean it's really your call. Once I was happy with the amount of flakes I pulled off the truck's rear end, I went back in with a bright metallic color and repainted the chains just to make sure I didn't get any extra paint on them. Okay, I was really excited to show you this next technique, but man did I mess it up. But before I can show you how badly that turned out, I need to thank a few people. First, of course, is my patrons. Thank you so much for the support you give me month to month. It really helps me make these videos a reality. Thanks for sticking around the past few months. I got a lot of content in the hopper that I'm very excited to show you. Secondly, I need to thank Tinu from Craftersdome. At the very start of the collaboration, Tinu offered to help me with the DEATHRACE animation, and man, he really cranked it up to 11 and taught me so much throughout the process. Definitely stick around to the end, the race gets wild. And after the race, be sure to go watch Tinu craft the Shite Rider. It's a work of art. Lastly, I need to thank Craftsman for putting some of his very precious time into this project. Craftsman, you have been a huge inspiration to me throughout the years, and I'm truly honored to have worked with you on this. Thank you. Alright, let's go watch me totally mess up this technique. It'll be fun. The technique that I'm going to try to show you is called candy coating. You're going to start out with the absolute brightest silvery paint you can find. And then you apply transparent paints on top. These paints change the color of the metal, but unlike when you're using opaque paints, the layers beneath still show through. I did a gradient from hot yellow to bright red, and then drew some flames on masking tape and cut it out with an X-Acto to make a mask. After the masks were cut out, I applied them to the sides and front of the car, and then hit everything with a dark blue coat, shifting the reds to purple and the yellows to green. And this is where disaster struck. See, in theory, when you pull the masks off, it should leave all the different layers underneath intact, but instead it started to peel up that sweet red-yellow gradient along with the tape. And I really didn't like the way this looked. In fact, I thought it looked pretty So I try to fix it with some Ryza Rust from GW. It's like this goop that you can spread everywhere, and when it dries it gets all craggly and rusty. I ended up applying it here and there all over the model, but that's just not working for me. I don't know if it was the fact that I mixed orange with blue, with green, with red, with white, with green again, but the whole thing just kind of looked like a mess, even too messy for the wastelands. So I decided to start the front part all over again and spray it with a nice matte gray. While it's drying, let's fix up some of the other parts. I used a red-brown to tone down some of the Ryza Rust. it was looking a little too bright for me. I used a mix of a greenish blue and a black to make the tire color. Then I hit all the coppery bits with copper to make them look like copper. Actually, it's more like a brass. Then I used a bright silver color to bring back some shine to the edges and details of all the little metal bits. Alright, I think that gray is dry enough now. I'm gonna do some masking again with masking tape, but I learned from last time, and I'm gonna take that tape and kind of smush it on my hands first to get rid of some of the tackiness. Hopefully we can avoid some paint peeling up this time. Since this is a fire truck after all, I thought some bright red would be a nice complement to the gray. This time around I let the paint dry for longer and took my sweet time pulling up all the strips of tape. Oh yeah, that is so satisfying. I'm not sure if you knew this or not, but red is scientifically proven to make cars go faster. And trucks too. I think a mushroom told me that once. There's some noticeable texture left behind from the rise of rust and paint peeling up, but hey baby, that's just free weathering. I used this to my advantage and laid down some brown rusty spots where the texture showed through. To break up the different sections of the cab, I used some thin black paint to do some panel lining. Then using that same black paint, I went around all the different rust patches. This creates an illusion of shadow, so it looks like all the paint is starting to peel up around the patches. Then to add a bit more pop, I used some brighter paint to edge highlight where the paint meets the rust. Overall, much happier with the way the cab looks now compared to when we had that candy coat disaster. In fact, I think I'm ready to put this all together. What? I gotta put myself together too. Oh yeah. Alright, ladies and half-lives, it's time for that gouache wash. If you've never heard of gouache wash before, well, you're in for a treat. Gouache is opaque watercolor paint. And I know what you're thinking, watercolor paint on minis? Can't be done. No, trust me, it works really well. Gouache and watercolors can be reactivated with water, just like oil paints with mineral spirits. So you can slather your entire model with this brown weird goop, give it a blast with the old Dry Faster 5000, which is a hairdryer. And then once it's dry, you can use some water to reactivate the paint and pull off what you don't want. This allows you to brighten a lot of the model back up while still leaving the recesses nice, dark, and grimy. I have a full video on this, by the way, it's down in the description below. Last up was adding some orange powder in the form of DIY weathering pigments. I got a video down in the description on that too. I smushed Bill on that one. Alright, glamour shots can wait. It's time to race.
Welcome to Beyond Crafterdome.
Hey, wait a minute. We've already seen all this. Let's go ahead and fast forward. There we go.
Contestant, start your engines. Like that. The race will begin in 3, 2, 1.
And they're off! It looks like Norm Makes and Bill Making Stuff both have their eye on the leader, Kurt. Don't count out CC Minis or T2 of Craftastrophe. I'm launching the secret weapon.
No, Daddy, hold your horses.
And not surprising anyone, Boy Lie in last place. Look at him go, that's what speed looks like. Kurt still has a commanding lead of first place. Come on, Boy Lie, you can do it, champ. Oh, look out, looks like Norb is making a power grab for Kurt.
Say hello to my little friend.
Whoa, he smushed one of Kurt's cars, but he's out of control. Whoa. It's safe to say Norb Makes is out of the race.
All right, Windows Vista, let's rain down some fire.
Printer not detected.
Printer, work, you stupid thing.
Hell, I'm being assaulted.
Here comes CC Minis.
Let's go. Take that, Gert.
And Kurt's second car is out the race.
You just got roasted.
Don't count out Red Rooter.
Nick, it's Bill.
Oh no. Oh God, no.
Bill's shooting stuff is raining down fire. Watch out, Nick.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, broadside.
Oh, he was a nice guy, but you know.
Gert's still in the lead.
It's the German.
Watch out, Gert.
Hello, German. Guten Tag.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Whoa, Gert has crashed and Bill has stalled.
Oh, top 30 gears. What's going on?
It's Tinu.
Adios, Bill, losing stuff.
Death ball.
Tinu!
Tinu has taken the lead. Bill's back in action.
How come, Tinu?
Uh-oh, should have been nicer.
Let me at him.
Go, Daddy, go.
Secret weapon alert. Oh, what a day, what a lovely day.
Time to catch your bus.
Hey, Bill, they're serving sloppy joes today in Valhalla. Let's go grab a table. Oh, I hope they're okay. Hey, I'm alive. I always knew I was indestructible.
Daddy.
And we have a clear winner with Tinu of Crafterverse. Wait, why is he stopping?
Okay, Windows Vista, let's get some revenge.
Weapons system online.
Kill that fish. Fire.
Target acquired. Destroy Shite Rider.
Wait, what? No. Abort.
Sweet darkness, take away the pain. Sweet darkness, take away the pain.
Well, we have a new winner. Boy Lie Hobby Time. He's gonna be taking home that Mod Podge as he slowly meanders his way to the finish line. If you need to take a bathroom break, I suggest now it's a good time because this is taking a while. Hold on, Boy Lie has finally crossed the finish line and is entering the dollar store. Take a good look around, fish at your wonderful prizes. Hello.
That's what that button does. My bad.
Thanks for watching till the end, y'all. Here is a link to the playlist of all the other crafters' builds. Go check them out. Until next time, stay healthy and take care.